In this video, we're going to be going over our modifiers, and we're going to look today at the cloth modifier, which is a little bit more complex than some of the ones that we've used before, or does a little bit more stuff, I should say. So first of all, I'm not going to apply the cloth modifier to this cube, but what I do want to do for this is I'm going to go down to my physics tab. I'm going to say add passive. I'm going to go over to my physics modifier. I'm going to turn on collusion, and I'm going to just kind of leave it at its default for right now. We might want to adjust those later. I'm going to tell it that I want it to be mesh in shape. I'm going to add a plane, and then I'm going to scale that up a little bit. Okay, once I get it scaled up, I'm going to go ahead and do Control A, and which is apply, and I'm going to do apply scale so that it treats it all as just standard scale. I'm going to lift this up right above the surface of that box. It can be pretty close. It could be higher if I want to, but I'm just going to do that. Tab into the plane, and I'm going to go ahead and subdivide the faces. So in Tools, if I go down to where it says Add, Subdivide, and I'm going to tell this to do 20 subdivisions, and then let's go ahead and subdivide it once more, and so actually double the amount of subdivisions that we said. If I wanted to do something really detailed, I might actually do even more, which I'll do for this one just for the fun of it. Okay, so with the plane selected, I'm going to go over to my modifier. And with that, in the modifiers, I'm going to click on it. Under Simulate, I'm going to go to where it says Cloth. And then what we want to do is we actually want to add active to this shape. I'm going to go ahead and make it go back to the very beginning. I'm going to hit play. It's going to drop right around the surface of that cube. And I'm going to go ahead and send it back to the beginning. Here it's already calculated that. It runs a little bit smoother. This is more for getting it modeled the way that you want. You could run that as an animation, but probably in most cases what you want to do is not so much have this moving like that, but actually have it just modeled in place, in which case you can click Apply. You can also apply a shape key. I would use Apply if I were doing this. But if you apply it, you're going to lose the animation, and then you also want to consider where your settings are there and stuff. So that actually looks pretty good. And then, like in our last video, I'd usually add a thickness modifier. I would also, with this, add a lot of times I'd actually add a subdivision modifier too to make it look a little bit smoother. You can turn that up to get a little bit smoother thing. So if I did rendering, let's go to cycles here. And actually this is, even though I have it turned up for rendering, this is in the viewport still, so I'm not getting as many faces as I would in actually rendering it for smoothing it out. But you can see in here that you get a little bit of oddness right around the corners. And that's where a thickness modifier could help a lot. So we could add that to the stack as well. And so I'm going to go down to where I have solidify, and I can increase its thickness just a bit. I actually remember from the last one that we actually went negative on this to get the result that we wanted. And so they're looking a little bit better. I still have that corner poking through. And part of that I could try to fix in the modeling, because just making it thicker and thicker and thicker might not help if we don't want this to look that thick when we're rendering it. So anyway, just some settings to play with and try out, and see kind of what you get. But it's a handy tool, especially a very quick way to make a nice looking tablecloth. In Tools, I could also click on Smooth, which will make it look really nice all the way around.